Hey everybody, I hope this is working out. This is a video of the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that's happening right now. Technically tomorrow they'll be at their closest, but it's supposed to snow tomorrow. So we're doing this now when there is a slight break in the clouds. There's two layers of clouds above and below the planets at the moment. I'm down at the Lethbridge Astronomy Society, and I'm looking at the planets from our deck here. And from my perspective, not looking at the telescope, they just look like one single point of light, which was the whole idea, that they're so close together that they look like a single point of light. Actually, if I stare at close enough, if I squint just the right way, I think I can see two lights. So they might even get a little bit closer tomorrow. Either way, they're pretty darn close. Closer than planets usually get from our perspective down on the Earth. So that's looking pretty cool. And what's really neat is that, like, these planets, they're big enough, they're gas planets, and they're a lot bigger than the Earth. So when you see them, you can tell, first of all, Saturn is at the top, and you can see its rings. It's with this telescope, with the how low they are on the sky, with the atmospheric distortion, it's really difficult to tell the difference between Saturn the planet and Saturn's rings. But you can tell that Saturn has rings compared to Jupiter, which is just a circle. Saturn it's like football shaped. And that's the rings. On a really good day, when it's not this ripply, the atmosphere, you can see the difference. And we have some photographers in our astronomy society that have taken some pretty decent pictures of Saturn and Jupiter as well. And with Jupiter, it's too bright, it's too overexposed in this image to see any details, and it's probably too blurry. I've taken a couple of pictures where I can see some of the cloud bands and just barely can see the great red spot in one of my images. But what's neat right now is that you can currently see the four, just barely, when the clouds are a little bit further away than they are now, you can see the four Galilean moons in kind of a straight line of dots diagonally across around Jupiter's little area there. Those are the four biggest moons of Jupiter. So the furthest one, just above and to the left of Jupiter, there's a kind of a bright light. Even further above and to the left of that is a fainter one. That one is called Callisto. The brighter one that we just were talking about, up and to the left of Jupiter, is called Ganymede, and that is the biggest moon in the solar system. It's actually bigger than the planet Mercury. Just below it and to the right, just below Jupiter and to the right, are two other points of light that you can kind of see, hopefully. The one closest to Jupiter is Io. That's the most volcanically active body in the solar system. It's got hundreds of volcanoes, and they're all active. And some of them are regular, like lava volcanoes, and some of them are molten sulfur volcanoes. And then just to the bottom and right of Io, which you can't see now, but you could a few seconds ago, is the moon Europa. And that's the one that looks like it's covered in ice, even though, like, all of these moons are kind of made of ice, but Europa looks very much like a giant circular ice cube. And I think it's NASA that's going to be sending a mission to Europa in the near to midterm future I think it's Europa, and I think they're going to be not necessarily looking for life, but just studying the moon to see if they can put a lander on it in the future. Unless they actually are putting a lander on it in this mission. I don't know, I can't remember. I guess there was a misconception that I've heard going around on social media that this conjunction was supposed to be super bright, supposed to be the super bright star that you can see in the sky. Well, it's not. It's just the brightness of Jupiter and Saturn, and they are bright, but they're nowhere near the moon or anything like that. They're just very close together, which is cool. Doesn't happen very often. Our Astronomy Society president had said that roughly 400-ish years ago there was another conjunction of these two planets that they were really close, but that was during the daytime. so nobody would have seen it. The last time people could have seen a conjunction this close, if I remember correctly, was around the 1250s AD. So this is a rather uncommon occurrence. So that's kind of nice to be alive when something like this is going on. All right, I think that's it. If anybody has any questions about it, feel free to message our public Facebook page, Lethbridge Astronomy Society, and I'll be signing off for now. Have a good night, and happy holidays.